who are you marketing to? Because you might have heard about B2C, B2G, B2B. Are you marketing to the right people? I think that is a very, very good question. And if you're not aware of the terminology, B2C is business to consumer, B2B is business to business, and B2G is business to government. And you can have all of these strategies depending on who is your end client, who is your core client. But I think that one of the things we often miss in marketing that is super important is that all marketing, nowadays at least, are P2P, which is person to person or people to people. Because yes, it might be the business or the government that is your core client, but behind those are people. And those are the people we want to market towards. And we're all bombarded with content every day and a lot of commercials, a lot of information just throughout the day. And we filter, right? We filter unconsciously. So whether you get a ad for something in your spare time that's related to your work or the other way around, it might actually seep through. So it's more important to create marketing and ads and content that can do that can cut through the bullshit and come into. So B2B, B2C, of course, B2G, there are probably some, at least where I am in Denmark, there are a lot of the time you need to kind of make offers. You need to fill out these huge things to actually get a government bid. But still, if people know you in advance, it's like it's trust you're building. So if people know you, know of you, have seen you before, know about your message, they will be more likely to choose your offer. So again, thinking about this, when we then do marketing and doing people to people, it's a super important thing to remember how the psychology then works, right? There's a really good example, and this is like 10, 15 years ago. Denmark were about to buy new, I think it was fighter jets, to be honest, which is weird. But nonetheless, the country were about to buy new fighter jets. And there were these different brands fighting for that contract, of course, because that's a huge contract. You want to get that contract, right? One of the competitors for this contract, they did two interesting things that was very discussed in the media as well here. One is they put out ads in the papers, like a physical paper, right? And they took out full page ads in, I think, actually the most important business paper and the most important, like, all over general paper as well. And then they also put up ads at the bus stops and the stations. And people were like, why am I seeing this as a person who has no influence? We're not near an election. Like, there's nothing here that influences where I can influence that choice. But what they failed to see was that the more we see something, the more positive we'll be towards it. So the more times we actually meet something in our everyday life and it doesn't have a negative outcome for us, the more we'll be open to that. So this company was actually genius. And as far as I remember, they also ended up with the contract. But what they did was they exposed the decision makers when they had their guards down. They exposed them on their way to work. They exposed them reading their morning paper. They exposed them when they were getting information about the things that they are working with. So really, they were softening them up to make that decision in their favor, so that when they're looking at all of these offers, they're going to go into it and already be like, this company is actually already ahead on points because they have seen them, they've got accustomed to who they are, what they do. So they already have that message in their brain when they read through the material, when they go into the negotiations. What that means for you is that when you're thinking about your marketing, whether it's directly to consumers, if it's business, if it's government, remember, they're all people. And this is so important because it's the best way to kind of think in, like, how do we actually reach people that make decisions We do that by reaching them as people. Who are your core customers? Let me know in the comments. Is it consumers? Is it businesses? Is it government? And what's your marketing strategy? I would love to hear it. And then with joy and excitement, I will see you in the next video.